Now, coming up, nuclear fusion, once seen as science fiction, may be inching closer to reality. We've got the latest data on clean energy tech that's backed by billionaires. This is Bloomberg.
This is Bloomberg Surveillance Early Edition. I'm Matt Miller in Berlin with Danny Berger in London and Kaylee Lyons in New York. Now, a world of cheap and clean energy may come sooner than many people think. The nuclear fusion industry is attracting some serious investors like billionaires Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, and Peter Thiel. And according to Bloomberg Intelligence, the industry could achieve a $40 trillion valuation. Mike Dennis's research note on this was one of the most read pieces on the terminal last week, and he joins us now to talk about a world where we don't have to pay much for energy that's just as clean as solar or wind. Mike, isn't the initial outlay the biggest problem with nuclear right now? Isn't that the concern?
Well, it could be. I mean, if you look at some of the big government projects like Inter, you're talking sort of $21 billion already invested. But if you're looking at the private companies like Commonwealth, you're talking about $3 to $4 billion. They're looking to build very much more small demonstration to commercial reactors in the next 5 years.
So, Mike, is this going to be primarily a private capital-driven story?
Well, not entirely. I think a lot of it is about the spin-offs. A lot of it is about the link-ups between some of the big energy companies like Chevron backing ZAP and like Eni, the Italian oil major, backing Commonwealth Fusion. So some of it is becoming more integrated with the majors, but the majority of the rapid increase in the technology is coming from the 35-odd private companies that are building fusion reactors.
Mike, it's not that nuclear power is new. It's been around for a while, or at least the idea of it. If it's safe and sustainable, why has it taken this long to get some serious backing behind it?
I think there were some hiccups along the way. I think this came out of the Manhattan Project in the 40s and 50s, obviously with nuclear fission and bombs. The fusion side of it has taken a long time to develop because the whole technology of confinement, containment and density to create plasma, which is fusion, has taken a long time to gain our understanding of the science. What's really changed is that the government backside of it, the science has been proven. Now it's the private sector that is really accelerating it. That's the interesting bit.
The concerns obviously arise. Older people will remember 3 Mile Island, Chernobyl. I think there was a recent documentary on that. Fukushima, even the kids remember that. How do we assure the public that we're not going to have those kind of disasters and that we're not going to be looking to store, tons and tons of Simpsons-level toxic waste in your backyard someday soon?
Well, it's a fairly basic set of ingredients. It's basically lithium that makes tritium, and it's water, and there's an abundance of that on the planet that makes deuterium. So in terms of the actual products, the sort of radioactive side of it, if that's where you're interested, is more of a half-life of like 12.5 years rather than thousands and hundreds of thousands of years with the nuclear industry. So there's very little risk of building up a huge nuclear waste, mainly because of the small quantities used in fusion and the fact that it's very short half-life for what is the end product.
Mike, really fascinating stuff. Thanks so much for joining us today. Really appreciate your time. And, of course, you can read Mike's work and the rest of his team at BIGO. That's Mike Dennis, Bloomberg Intelligence Thematic Strategist.